This cold-blooded gangster is actually an undercover cop. To gain the boss's trust, Ja-sung helped him do countless things against his conscience. This caused Ja-sung to fall into a struggle between his conscience as a police officer and the darkness of crime he was committing. Ja-sung was afraid that he was gradually losing himself. Ja-sung was an undercover cop who had been in the Gold Moon criminal organization for 8 years. During that time, Ja-sung collected for the police all the evidence of Chairman Seok-dong's crimes. That evidence was enough to put Seok-dong in prison for half his life, and Ja-sung could also end his dark underground life. But after a year of investigation, Chairman Seok-dong was declared innocent by the police due to lack of evidence. This meant that Ja-sung's 8 years were wasted. Even the police did not know how powerful Seok-dong was. At this time, Chairman Seok-dong had just finished an intimate meeting with his lover. Not long after, in front of the emergency room, a man named Jung-gu was anxiously waiting for Seok-dong outside. Jung-gu was a close subordinate of Chairman Seok-dong, and there was another capable subordinate named Jung-chung. But at this time, Jung-chug was working in Shanghai. Jung-chung was also Ja-sung's leader. When Jung-chung received the shocking news, he didn't even have time to change his shoes and boarded the earliest flight back to Korea. Jung-chung happily approached his subordinates who were waiting at the airport. It turned out that Ja-sung himself had come here to pick up Jung-chung. After leaving the airport, Jung-chung smiled and asked Ja-sung if the designer sunglasses he bought in Shanghai were nice. But Ja-sung didn't pay any attention to Jung-chung. Jung-chung felt humiliated, so he finally got to the main topic. Jung-chung asked Ja-sung about Chairman Seok-dong's health condition. Ja-sung gently replied that Seok-dong was probably about to die because the hospital couldn't guarantee that they could save Chairman Seok-dong. Jung-chung immediately looked miserable. He blamed the chairman for going to see his lover in the middle of the night. Immediately after, Jung-chung smiled and took out a new gift, which was for Ja-sung's wife. Ja-sung opened it and saw that it was a fake watch, so he threw it away and said that it was better for Jung-chung to give it to his sister-in-law and not buy fakes anymore. But Jung-chung wasn't angry. He even asked Ja-sung if the glasses he was wearing looked cheap. Ja-sung immediately admitted it. Jung-chung was so angry that he got a little angry at the subordinate in front of him. From this, it can be seen that the relationship between Jung-chung and Ja-sung was not just a normal superior-subordinate relationship, but also a friendship that relied on each other. Not long after, outside the operating room were all the senior leaders of the Gold Moon Group waiting anxiously. This is not only the surgery of Chairman Seok-dong, but also the survival of the entire Gold Moon Group. At the same time, it will also change the fate of everyone. Chairman Seok-dong of the Gold Moon Group was declared dead due to lack of timely treatment. The leaders of the underworld came to pay their respects, but at that moment, a subordinate discovered that the police had broken into the funeral and were secretly taking pictures. Jung-gu, having received the news, immediately took action. Jung-gu not only damaged the police's camera, but he also let his subordinates insult the police. At that moment, the police team leader appeared and told Jung-gu that their job was to monitor underworld organizations like Jung-gu. So Jung-gu should quickly get to work on putting Chairman Seok-dong in the coffin. Jung-gu said that the police were openly taking pictures in his area, so he would not let it go. The police chief threatened that he would make Jung-gu useless. Jung-gu immediately warned the police to be more careful with their words. Faced with the arrogance of the mafia, the police had to take action because the Gold Moon Group was not an ordinary mafia organization. Gold Moon was a mafia group that was a combination of violent organizations from all over the country: the Tiger faction, the Underworld faction, and the North Gate faction. Chairman Seok-dong was once the leader of the Tiger faction. Under Seok-dong's strong leadership, the mafia group had developed into a medium-sized enterprise with 8 fields. If left alone, it might get out of control like the mafia in some countries. Chairman Seok-dong's sudden death gave the police an opportunity. Director Gao and Captain Kang want to control the Gold Moon Group through controlling the election of the new chairman. The police have a clear understanding of the candidates' backgrounds. The leading candidate is Jung-chung. He is the CEO of the Gold Moon Group. At the same time, Jung-chung was the former leader of the Northern Gate faction. His hometown is Lishui, and he is also a Chinese. Jung-chung has a good business sense. He is currently managing the main businesses of the Gold Moon Group. That is, the legal industries. Jung Chung is also responsible for liaising with other gangs, although Jung Chung is ranked third in the Na group. Chairman Seok Dong has considered Jung Chung as the #1 candidate. The second candidate is Jung Gu. He is also Jung Chung's biggest competitor. Jung Gu mainly manages the personal loans, multi-level marketing, entertainment, and other black industries of the Gold Moon Group. Previously, Jung Gu was a close subordinate of Chairman Seok Dong, but when the group was legalized, Jung Gu only knew how to fight and had no business sense, so he was pushed aside by Jung Chung. However, Jung Gu was still the main supporter of the Tiger faction, the largest gang in the Gold Moon Group. The relationship between Jung Gu and Jung can be said to be like water and fire. The last candidate was the vice president of the group, Jang Suki. Nominally, Jang Suki ranked second, but in reality, Jang Suki had no real power. Jang Suki was once the leader of the Hell faction, but in the internal struggle of the group, Jang Suki was defeated by Jung Gu of the Tiger faction and Jung Chung of the North Gate faction. So much so that Jang Suki could not recover. So much so that Jang Suki's Hell faction was forced to disband. Currently, Jang Suki is in a semi-reclusive state and is no longer able to compete. Ja-sung studied Go for 8 years but became a gangster boss. He was tired of being an undercover agent. Ja-sung thought that after Chairman Seok Dong died, he could return to normal life. After all, that was what Captain Kang had promised Ja-sung. But the Go teacher told Ja-sung that Captain Kang had a new plan. This woman who taught Go was also the contact person. Hearing this, Ja-sung was very angry. He did not wait for approval and rushed to the secret contact point. Ja-sung questioned Captain Kang why he did not keep his promise. Captain Kang replied that the situation had changed, it was forced by the situation. Ja-sung angrily questioned that it was not his fault that they could not sue Chairman Seok Dong. It was not his fault that the chairman died either. Ja-sung wanted to know who was in charge of all these plans. Seeing Ja-sung's disrespect, Captain Kang said bluntly that if Ja-sung did not want to do it anymore, he should submit his resignation. But what if the gang knew that Ja-sung was an insider? This was clearly a threat from Captain Kang. Ja-sung had no choice but to accept. Captain Kang saw that Ja-sung had submitted, so he comforted him that if he tried for a few more weeks, things would be different. Now Ja-sung just needed to continue supporting Jung Chung. After completing this mission, Captain Kang promised to take Ja-sung's whole family abroad. Ja-sung had no choice but to accept. He had just turned around to leave when Captain Kang called him back. Kang said that this was a gift for Ja-sung's son. Only then did Ja-sung understand that Captain Kang was always watching him. Ja-sung angrily threw the gift bag into the water. Captain Kang calmly said that he should consider it as protecting him. Ja-sung also understood that Captain Kang was afraid that he would betray him. Not long after the high-level meeting of the Gold Moon Group took place, the members of the group suggested that a new president should be chosen soon. To ensure that the group does not collapse, Vice President Jang Suki proposed to choose a new chairman at this month's interim meeting. Jung Chung and Jung Gu both agreed with the members' opinions. In the elevator, Jung Chung suggested that he would go to Shanghai for a few days to discuss business. So Jung Chung asked Ja-sung to look after the company for him. But Ja-sung was very worried. Jung Chung could only remind Ja-sung many times that he must keep it a secret and absolutely not let Jung Gu know that Jung Chung was going to Shanghai. But now, Ja-sung did not want to think much more. He just waited until a new chairman was chosen. No matter who was chosen, Ja-sung's mission would be completed. At that time, he could withdraw. But at this moment, a car suddenly rushed straight towards them. Ja-sung immediately blocked the car to protect Jung Chung. Jung Gu slowly stuck his head out from the back seat and mocked them. This was clearly a warning to Jung Chung. This time, Jung Gu seems determined to win the chairman position. Meanwhile, Jung Chung appears more mature and calm. He tells Ja-sung that he was scared and wants to go somewhere to relax. During the meal, Jung Chung also notices that Ja-sung seems worried. Although he doesn't know what it is, Jung Chung still has to comfort Ja-sung. In the police office, Director Gao has reviewed Captain Kang's New World Action Plan. It seems that Gao is very satisfied with this plan, but Director Gao is a little worried about Ja-sung's current situation. Although Ja-sung is not important in the New World Plan, if he gives up now, Jung Chung's side will become weak. At that time, Jung Gu will have the upper hand and be elected as the new chairman. Therefore, the New World Plan will also fail, which is why Captain Kang is always monitoring Ja-sung. Meanwhile, Ja-sung is also meeting with the contact person. According to the work plan, Ja-sung uploaded all the evidence of Jung Gu's crimes that Jung Chung held to the database. But this evidence was not enough to convict Jung Gu. The contact said that was enough, and they would arrange the rest. Upon hearing this, Ja-sung knew that he was not the only spy in the Gold Moon Group. Ja-sung tried to ask, but the contact refused to reveal anything. They also did not tell Ja-sung the next action plan. Ja-sung felt like a controlled chess piece, and even his teammates did not believe him. Although he was very upset, Ja-sung could not do anything. Finally, Ja-sung informed the contact of the time Jung-chung would go abroad, and then he turned away. On the other side, Jung-gu invited the members of the group to campaign for the election of the new chairman. Jung-gu said that whoever did not vote for him would not be able to keep their lives. Everyone was scared, so they did not dare to say anything. At this time, Jung-chung was preparing to go to Shanghai. He had just passed through security when he was stopped by a mysterious person. Jung-chung agreed to go with them, but on the condition that if he missed this flight, they had to book another one for Jung-chung. Just now, Captain Kang gave Jung-chung a set of documents. He flipped through them and saw that they were all evidence of Jung-gu's crimes. Jung-chung immediately understood that the police wanted to help him eliminate his rivals to take power, but these documents were not enough to convict Jung-gu. Immediately, Captain Kang brought out another document. Jung-chung looked at it and was immediately surprised. This document not only had details about Jung-gu's crimes, but also Jung-chung's. It was clear that Captain Kang knew everything. Jung-gu asked Mr. Kang how many spies they had planted in the Gold Moon group. Captain Kang replied that he should not change the subject because he was also hiding under the identity of a spy to defeat Chairman Sok-dong's assistants. Jung-chung is like them, wanting to eliminate Chairman Sok-dong and take control of Gold Moon group. Only then does Jung-chung realize that Captain Kang is threatening him. If Jung-chung does not cooperate with the police now, Jung-chung will lose the election and be framed by the police. Jung-chung may be accused of assassinating Chairman Sok-dong. If so, Jung-chung will have no way back. Captain Kang says that the only thing missing now is the east wind, which means that Jung-chung's only choice now is to cooperate with the police. But Jung-chung still doesn't know what the police are really planning, so he doesn't answer. But Jung-chung is sure that the police can accurately predict the time he will go abroad, proving that the insider is definitely right next to Jung-chung. On the plane, Jung-chung tells the lawyer that this time they have to rely on Chinese hackers. No matter how much money it costs, Jung-chung must get all the information about the insider. In addition, the lawyer also had to call the North Korean assassins here. Meanwhile, Captain Kang made the situation worse. He was pushing the insider into a dead end. Immediately after, Captain Kang began to carry out the second step of the New World Plan, which was to arrest Jung-gu and frame Jung-chung. This was an official investigation order from the court. Captain Kang arrested Jung-gu. The purpose was to force Jung-chung to compromise. At this time, Jung-chung in Shanghai had received this news from the lawyer. Jung-chung told the lawyer to arrange a council meeting as soon as possible so that the police would not have much time to prepare. Then he called the assassins to Korea to prepare to eliminate the insider. Ja-sung noticed the danger signs from Captain Kang following Jung-chung and arresting Jung-gu. Although Ja-sung did not know Captain Kang's plan clearly, Ja-sung could be sure that the situation was getting more and more dangerous. So Ja-sung told his pregnant wife that they should go abroad to live. But Ja-sung did not know that his wife was sent by Captain Kang to monitor him. If Ja-sung's wife knew that she was the one arranged to monitor her husband, Captain Kang had repeatedly used tricks to threaten Ja-sung's wife for work. He would eventually suffer the consequences. After Jung-chung returned to the country, the first thing he did was to visit Jung-gu in prison. Jung-chung knew that Captain Kang was holding secret documents that could confirm Jung-gu's crime. Jung-chung told Jung-gu that he had taken care of everything outside and that he would also do his best to protect Jung-gu. But Jung-gu was not grateful. Jung-gu insisted that Jung-chung had betrayed him. Jung-gu suspected that Jung-chung had killed Chairman Sok-dong. In fact, Jung-chung was reminding Jung-gu that everything behind the scenes could be caused by the police. So, Jung-gu had to stay awake. Jung-chung then went to Captain Kang again and gave him a box of high-end Chinese mooncakes. It was a dry and tasteless box of Chinese mooncakes, but inside was full of dollars. It seemed that Jung-chung had learned a lot of things this time when he went to China to study. Jung-chung wanted to bribe Captain Kang. He hoped that the police would not interfere in the gang's internal elections. But Kang did not accept the money. It seemed that Captain Kang's New World Plan could not be solved with money. Jung-chung asked the police if they did not want to destroy the gang and did not accept the gift. What did they want to do in the end? Captain Kang said that he did not destroy them. He just hoped that the gangsters would listen to him in the future. Jung-chung said that he understood and would answer him soon. Back in the car, Jung-chung received information about the insider from the Chinese hacker, but there was someone he did not want to see. Jung-chung asked again if this information was reliable. It is known that these documents come from the best hacker group in China. These people can get the secret documents of the US, FBI, and the federal government within 2 days. At that moment, Jung-chung received a phone call from Ja-sung. Jung-chung happily answered the phone and asked where Ja-sung was. Not long after, Jung-chung arranged for the assassins to act. This woman called Captain Khan and said that she had been discovered, so she asked him to destroy all documents related to her. Ja-sung went to the warehouse to meet Jung-chung. When Ja-sung opened the oil barrel, he was stunned. Inside was his contact. At this time, Jung-chung came and asked if he was surprised because this girl was a police officer. Jung-chung asked if Ja-sung knew about this. Ja-sung immediately denied it. Jung-chung continued to say that although the contact did not say anything, he already knew who the mole was. Then, Jung-chung gave the insider documents to Ja-sung. Ja-sung knew he had been exposed. Ja-sung instinctively looked around. Then he opened the documents. Luckily, the first page was not Ja-sung's insider documents. Breathed a sigh of relief and wiped the sweat from his face. Jung-chung picked up the shovel next to him and told Ja-sung to continue flipping. When he opened the next page, Ja-sung was extremely scared. His hands kept shaking. The younger brother Ja-sung trusted the most was also an insider. Jung-chung ordered the assassins to deal with the policewoman and clean up Assistant Shin. Then Jung-chung left. At the same time, Captain Kang was also not idle. After receiving a call from the contact, Kang knew that Jung-chung had taken action against the police's insider. Captain Kang decided to carry out the next plan. Now that Jung-gu was in custody, he no longer had the same authority as before. Jung-gu also complained that Captain Kang disturbed his sleep at night. Jung-gu thought that the police were violating human rights. Captain Kang said that the Gold Moon Group would elect a new president the day after tomorrow. Would Jung-gu stand by and watch Jung-chung take his position? Jung-gu laughed and said that if Kang hadn't arrested him, this wouldn't have happened. Captain Kang just needed to get evidence to arrest the person. He also asked if Jung-gu wanted to know who was accusing Jung-gu. Captain Kang showed him the secret photos taken when he met Jung-chung. Jung-gu was not stupid. He knew that Captain Kang was taking advantage of him, but Jung-gu still had to follow Captain Kang's wishes. First, Kang has all the evidence of Jung-gu's crime. Just one piece of evidence is enough to execute Jung-gu. Second, Jung-chung will not forgive Jung-gu after taking power, so Jung-gu has no choice but to attack the other party to have a chance to survive. Not long after, Ja-sung and Captain Kang secretly met. Ja-sung thought that Captain Kang and Jung-chung had some kind of deal, so he betrayed the insider. Captain Kang thought that Ja-sung had betrayed him because Kang's insider had betrayed him before, so he sent Assistant Shin to follow Ja-sung. Ja-sung questioned Captain Kang about what his real plan was. At this time, the appearance of Jong-suki made Ja-sung understand everything. It turned out that Captain Kang's new world plan was to support the vice president of the group to take power. Although Jong-suki had lost power in the Gold Moon Group, that was the reason the police supported him. Because Jung-chung is prosperous and Jung-gu is arrogant and refuses to listen to the police's arrangements. However, supporting Jong-suki is not the police's final plan. After Captain Kang sends Jong-suki away, Kang tells Ja-sung that he will eventually take over the Gold Moon Group. But Ja-sung does not want to become a bad guy. Captain Kang says that they have no other choice now. Ja-sung's police record was erased by Jung-chung thanks to Chinese hackers, so it is safest for him to continue with his current identity. Furthermore, currently, only Captain Kang and Director Gao know that Ja-sung is an insider. Kang's words still threaten Ja-sung. If Ja-sung does not follow Captain Kang's arrangements, Ja-sung will never be able to restore his police identity, even though Jung-chung also knows his identity. Today, in the parking garage, Jung-chung is surrounded by a group of thugs. Jung-chung told Jung-gu's subordinates that they were all being used by the police, but the stupid subordinates did not understand this. When the elevator opened, the only person standing alive was still Jung Chung, but he collapsed. At the same time, people related to Jung Chung also suffered. Luckily, Ja-sung was secretly meeting with Captain Kang, so he avoided a disaster. But Ja-sung's pregnant wife did not know that danger was approaching. A man led a group of thugs to stand in front of Ja-sung's house. Seeing the gang's subordinates about to attack Ja-sung's pregnant wife, the police arrived in time and stopped it. Ja-sung's wife was so scared that she bled. At the same time, Ja-sung went to the hospital to visit Jung Chung, and the gang members also arrived. From their conversation, it could be seen that the civil war initiated by Jung-gu had been completely crushed by Jung Chung's faction. The Tiger faction led by Jung-gu would no longer exist. But now that Jung Chung was in critical condition, someone in the group had to stand up to support the situation. Just one person needed to come forward and resolve the matter, so it should be handled. Jang-suki stood up with a responsible expression, but in fact he was very happy inside. Ja-sung realized that the situation had completely changed, and he was surprised to see these people bribed by Jang-suki. At the same time, Ja-sung was also surprised that Jang-suki's actions were too fast. Jung Chung's subordinates asked Ja-sung what they should do. At this time, it can be seen that Ja-sung has taken over Jung Chung's position. Ja-sung has become the default leader in the hearts of his subordinates. At that time, Ja-sung received news that his wife had an accident. When Ja-sung arrived at the hospital, his wife had miscarried and she was still in a coma. Ja-sung was extremely disappointed. He thought that it was Captain Kang who had ruined his family. However, Kang had repeatedly asked to resign from his position with Director Gao, but was rejected by Gao because he was not as talented as Kang. It was clear that Captain Kang was just a stepping stone for Director Gao to be promoted. Captain Kang was very dissatisfied, and at the same time, he also sympathized with Ja-sung. It was Captain Kang who had gradually pushed Ja-sung to the brink of death, so in the end, he chose to help Ja-sung. This was also to free Captain Kang himself. At the same time, Jang-suki was busy discussing business with his partner. Jang-suki also called on a group of people from the assassins to pave the way for his position as president. All of this went smoothly, according to Jang-suki's plan. Earlier, Captain Kang still wanted to continue to control Ja-sung. Kang warned Ja-sung not to forget that he was still a police officer, and that he should not forget to report the documents that needed to be reported. In addition, Jung-gu was about to be released, so Ja-sung should not touch him. Ja-sung understood that Captain Kang wanted to create an enemy for him in the Gold Moon group, and also possibly someone to monitor him. But thinking about how the captain had further provoked Jung-gu and also caused him to lose his support, Ja-sung felt that the captain had gone too far. But this time, Ja-sung was not angry with Captain Kang. Ja-sung's determined gaze seemed to contain a storm. At the hospital, Jung Chung woke up from his coma. The doctor told Ja-sung that this could be his last moment, so everyone had to prepare mentally. Ja-sung slowly sat down next to the leader's bed. Ja-sung looked at Jung Chung and burst into tears. Before he died, Jung Chung was still able to meet his good friend. This was probably his biggest wish. Jung Chung thought that Ja-sung was a police officer, so he certainly wouldn't come to see him for the last time. But that wasn't the case. From here, it can be seen that the friendship between Ja-sung and Jung Chung had crossed the line between police and gangsters. At the same time, Jung Chung also wanted to help Ja-sung make his final choice. Jung Chung was gasping for breath, so Ja-sung intended to put an oxygen mask on the leader, but Jung Chung stopped Ja-sung. Jung Chung asked Ja-sung how Ja-sung would deal with him if he were still alive. At Jung Chung's funeral, Ja-sung saw the assassins and nodded schemingly. Then Ja-sung went to Jung Chung's office. Ja-sung found the gift that Jung Chung left for him. Unexpectedly, it was Ja-sung's police file, along with a pair of couple watches. Ja-sung laughed, but this time, he did not criticize the fake watch anymore. Early the next morning, Jang-suki invited Ja-sung to get in his car to go to the election for the chairmanship, but Jang-suki's driver did not allow Ja-sung's subordinates. The driver drove the two to a remote place. Jang-suki's intentions were clear. Jang-suki said that from his perspective, he had to do it this way. Ja-sung also understood that he was the only one in the gang who knew about the cooperative relationship between Jang-suki and Captain Kang. He wanted to escape from the police and completely take over the Gold Moon group. At this time, Ja-sung thought he was about to die. He remembered his past. At that time, Ja-sung and Jung Chung were about to go kill someone. They rushed into a bar and saw a group of gangsters waiting. At that time, Ja-sung faced a group of strong men, but he did not hesitate to rush into battle, which proved that he was an excellent spy. Ja-sung used to be a policeman, but now he has become a ruthless gang leader. At this moment, it seemed that Ja-sung would be killed by Jang-suki, but unexpectedly, Jang-suki ended up harming himself instead. On this side, Jung-gu had just been released from prison, but he had no subordinates to pick him up. Jung-gu had also returned to his territory territory. He opened a bottle of wine and sat on the sofa. Not long after, a group of people surrounded Jung-gu. He was brutally killed by them and thrown downstairs. In Captain Kang's secret place, he saw a killer holding a knife. Captain Kang knew that all his plans had failed. After that, Kang was also brutally taken down by that killer. Next was Director Gao. He was also shot dead by 2 killers in his car. Not long after, at the Gold Moon Group's board meeting, the conference room doors slowly opened. A group of subordinates walked in. In the end, the most powerful person was Ja-sung, and no one dared to object to that. Ja-sung looked at his police record. He remembered the first time he met Captain Kang. When he started on this path, Ja-sung only wanted to become a police officer. It was this inhumane society that made Ja-sung step by step to this position. In this new dark world, the heart must be a little more evil to survive in this society. The movie ends here. If you like, please give a like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.